We're going to continue our conversation now. Joining us right here on the anchor desk, our old friend and Newsmax TV political analyst Dick Morris. We also have Dennis Michael Lynch in Newsmax New York, and from Newsmax Washington, Colonel Patrick Murray and Pete Hoekstra. But Dick, I want to get to you about Trump tonight with his statement. There's a debate, I believe, this coming Thursday night. Last debate, Marco Rubio was all over Donald Trump saying, well, your tie and shirt is made in Mexico or China. It didn't hold any water against Donald Trump. Why not?
Well, I do think that Dennis Michael Lynch had a very good point earlier when he said that he thought that Rubio really wore out his welcome. And I think that his critique was a juvenile level, and I don't think that that helped him. I think that the reality now is that it is now obviously a two-way race. Rubio lost every place. Cruz carried Texas. He carried Oklahoma, may carry Alaska. And ultimately, he had to carry Texas to stay in. Rubio has to carry Florida to stay in. And Kasich has to carry Ohio to stay in. Kasich's 5 behind in Ohio. Rubio's 20 behind, 16 behind in Florida. They're probably not going to win it. So in the next states, Kansas, Kentucky, Michigan, and a bunch of others, I think voters are going to say to themselves, I'm either for Trump or I'm against him. And if I'm against him, you got to vote for Cruz because the other guys just aren't there.
All right, let me turn to Dennis Michael Lynch because it has been a good night for Ted Cruz. Oklahoma in his column, as well as his home state of Texas. But I want to get back, since DML, you are a Trump supporter. If there was one charge that seemed to be factual or policy-oriented, it was that attack on Trump apparel being from Mexico and China, and for Trump hiring foreign workers. But tonight, in most states, it didn't seem to make a difference. Dennis, why not?
Because I think when people look at Donald Trump, they see an achiever, not just a leader, but an achiever. And people want things done. And none of us, JD, none of us are capable of walking on water. We all make mistakes. I think they understand that Trump has made his mistakes. But I do believe that they believe him when he says that he wants to make America great again and that he's going to take care of the number one problem in this country, which is illegal immigration. I think there's another thing that's very important to say. For the past 20, 40 minutes, you and I and the guests have gone back and forth about what we'd advise Donald Trump to do. And one of the things I said to you is he had to tone down his antics and become more presidential. The speech that he just gave right there in Florida, that was presidential. He came across solid, he came across passionate, sincere, and he said, congratulations to Ted Cruz. That's huge. That's a president.
And the congratulations for Ted Cruz comes on the fact that Ted won not only his home state of Texas, but also Oklahoma. To Colonel Patrick Murray, the two victories for Ted Cruz now. Our friend Dick Morris says it's a two-man race, Cruz and Trump. Colonel, do you share that assessment?
Well, I don't see a way forward for Marco Rubio. He hasn't won a state. He's not going to win his own state, and that's a winner-take-all state. But I think it's going to be very difficult for Ted Cruz as well. I think this was his high watermark with Texas and Oklahoma. And I think the people out there across the fruited plain, conservative voters, look, I wrote a book called Government is the Problem, and all that is coming home to roost. People see in Trump a person that's not a politician, who does not believe in big government, and they already know that there's one big government party. They don't need another one. So I think they're going to look to Donald Trump, as long as he maintains his status quo that he's done, his approach to this, staying inside his adversary's decision cycle and doing well, he's going to be the nominee.
Pete, let me turn to you because in Northern Virginia tonight, and I can almost hear a lot of guys on the Hill and the establishment types who cast their lot with Marco Rubio saying, yeah, Marco didn't win Virginia, but he gave Trump a tough time. What can you do to persuade the D.C. establishment and outsiders to your guy, John Kasich?
Well, I think what we need to do is, relax. Keep moving forward through this process. There's been lots of shifts. This is where John has proven his mettle. He was a disruptive force when we served with him in Congress. He's been a disruptive force in Ohio as well. This is the guy that, took on the Republican establishment and actually put together the plan that balanced the budget and those types of things. But it's going to be, I think it's going to be a very interesting couple of weeks. I like the tone and tenor of Donald Trump's speech tonight. It's a 2, 3, 4-way race. We're going to have 5 people, I think, stay in the race at least for the next couple of weeks. And we'll see exactly how this goes. I think Dick has said, Donald may not get to 1,200 votes by convention time. So let's just kind of play this out. But if John's convincing the people in D.C., I think as DML said, it's not about the people in D.C. John's got to make his case to the American people that he can be as disruptive as Donald Trump, but more importantly, he actually has the ability to implement that kind of change in Washington, D.C.
Thursday night, Dick, the debate. Go ahead,
JD.
DML. Yes, go ahead, sir.
JD, when I look at Trump, I see a bull in a china cabinet who is just knocking over everything that needs to be knocked over.
Is that a pun,
When
Dennis?
I see John... when I see John Kasich, I just see another politician. That's what everybody else sees. That's why this guy is in the cellar when it comes to the polls. What the GOP needs to do is they need to stop resisting Donald Trump and start supporting him, because the Republicans, Dick will support me on this, I know it. The Republicans are always chasing the Democrats. They're never in front of them. Hillary Clinton is a machine. And unless we start preparing for it now, she is going to get the keys to the White House.
All right, he set it up for you. Let me turn to you, Dick. Your response to what DML has just put out there.
Well, first of all, I love the idea of Trump as the bull in the china shop, if you will pun China for me.
That's right. Works out both ways,
Yeah.
doesn't it? Yes.
I think that I think it's early to say let's all unite behind Trump or anybody. I do believe that we've got some garbage here we need to get rid of. We have some candidates whose signs are still kicking around the floor, and they should close it up. I would be very happy to see the next debate a two-way contest between Trump and Cruz. And frankly, I'd like to see the media get lost. I think that what they should do is both go on CNN and say we're going to have a Lincoln Douglas debate, and that'll be interesting to see.
It would be interesting to see, but it appears the die has been cast by yet another cable network for what will transpire Thursday night. Great debate and discussion here. Dennis Michael Lynch, host of DML Unfiltered from Newsmax, New York, and Pete Hoekstra and Colonel Patrick Murray at Newsmax, Washington. Gentlemen, you have our thanks. Stay with us, because our special coverage of this Super Tuesday 2016 will continue after this timeout here on Newsmax TV.